Welcome to Cardiff. I'm going to start a new project today. It's going to be a hoverboard chair, or hover chair. So we'll be using a bunch of old wood and two brushless DC motors. These are from a hoverboard, and two brushless DC driver chips. So you can see the Futela packet there is to stop some Hall sensors shorting. So these are STM32 driver chips, and we've got the brains, which will be an ESP32. I'll be using an IMU sensor there as well, and of course my circular saw. So this project will be split across 3 videos. The first will be the build video, this video. I do have a 3D printer, but I also enjoy carpentry, so I thought I'd do a rough and ready kind of robot chassis instead of spending about 2 weeks 3D printing it. The second video will be sort of more coding and electronics, getting the microcontrollers sort of working with the simple FOC library and getting it all wired up. And the third video will be the fun one. That'll be the crash video, where I'm pretty certain I will hurt myself by sitting on the robot and hoping that it will balance. I think it will balance on its own, but I'm less sure that it will balance with 80 kilos of me on top of it. I might just surprise myself though. So you might have noticed that I'm overdubbing the video. Didn't really want to be using circular saws and drills and trying to concentrate on talking at the same time. Yeah, because I don't want to lose any fingers, and despite that, I do hurt myself a couple of times in this video, like now. Yeah, my workbench is in the shed. Maybe I should have got that. So yeah, I've been working on quite a few different things recently. Probably too many things. One of them is a rebuild of the hoverboard motor. So the hoverboard motor is very powerful, and you can pick them up for about $20, so they're great value for money. But because of the way that the spindle works, they're quite hard to use in robotics projects. So I've trying to sort of 3D print a new enclosure for it, and also maybe swap out the Hall sensors or complement the Hall sensors with some magnetic sensors. What else have I been working on? I've been in the process of trying to design a PCB board, like a dual brushless DC motor board for powering these. So yeah, this setup I've got now is quite complicated, because there's basically a driver for each of the motors, and then I've got the brains, the ESP32 talking to both of those. With this new board that I'm designing, then it'll have 2 drivers on it, so I'll just need 1 chip instead of 3. So back to this build. What I'm doing now is trying to create some space for the electronics, so there'll be a sort of compartment in the middle where the electronics and maybe a battery can live. You can see each of the motors. There's the 3 motor phase wires coming out of it, and the Hall sensors cables coming out too. So the hoverboard motors are really good value for money. You can pick them up on eBay for about £20. I usually buy second-hand hoverboards. I've got 3 of them now, and I paid about £45 for them. They can go about 12 miles an hour, and I think they're normally run on 36 or 40 volts, but I'll probably be running this at 24 volts. Like I say, they're easily able to shift my weight. My only concern really is that the driver I'm using, the STM32, is actually a driver that's designed for a drone. So essentially a helicopter. I'm supposed to drive one of 4 rotors on a drone. So it sounds like it's not up to the job, but it supposed to be able to do up to 40 amps, and I think if I can get like 5 amps out of it, then it should be enough to balance with. So these 4 pieces make up the central column. I'm hoping they're going to be strong enough, because on top of that will be the seat that I'm going to sit on. This kind of robot, I want it to be controllable, so I want it to be able to go sort of forwards and backwards and spin around left and right. So I need a control mechanism. It could be just sort of one of those like thumb joystick things, or maybe I'll use Bluetooth and a mobile phone. I might even let my teenage son sort of remotely control me, so I'll just be I'll be sat there as a passenger on the seat whilst he hurts me, I expect. We'll see how it turns out anyway. I've done some balance bot projects in the past. I started off with brushed motors and then moved on to stepper motors, and then about 6 months ago I started getting into brushless DC motors, some 3-phase motors. There's a great library called Simple FOC that I use, and you can run Simple FOC on ESP32, STM32 and Arduino, and use it to control brushless DC motors, which are kind of notoriously difficult to control. But this library hides all the complicated field-oriented control stuff and makes it easy to use. So that's the build almost done. All that remains is me to add the throne, the white chair, the stool of doom, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so obviously I'll be attaching it a little bit more securely than this. So yeah, if you want to join me for the second video where I do electronics encoding, or you could skip ahead to the crash video. Hopefully I'll have both of them done by the end of January 2021. And have a very happy new year.